For the last year, Counter-Strike esports has felt different. Not because the game changed, but because one team just started winning everything.
Managed to win the duel. Oh, no HP! No time!
Semi-finals at every single event since 2025, a historic 30-game win streak, 7 tournament wins in a row, and it all started because of one transfer. This is how Ropz joining Vitality created an era. Ad time. As you know, Valve recently introduced the Steam trade protection system, meaning all trades can now be cancelled within 7 days. But what if I told you don't have to wait 7 days? Skin.Land is back and you can cash out instantly. And this is why pros choose Skin.Land, as they recently became the official partner of Team Vitality. Just insert your trade URL, select skins to sell, enter your email, and choose one of the many withdrawal methods. Or you can buy a different skin from their marketplace with prices way lower than Steam. The CS market recently crashed, so now is the perfect time to buy the dip. There are also many ways to deposit, and the best part is that you can get $10 free today by selling over $100 in skins and entering my promo code TWIST. So to understand why this move even mattered, we have to go back to late 2024. This was probably the most competitive year we've ever had in Counter-Strike. Pretty much any team in the top 10 could beat anyone else on the right day. FaZe were still ranked number 5 in the world, but their level had clearly dropped since the early days of CS2, where they string together 5 or 6 finals in a row. Their Shanghai Major run already felt unlikely, and after losing the final to Spirit, it just became obvious that the FaZe era was over. On the other hand, we had Vitality, who were not dominant yet, but they were stable, consistent, and just slowly improving. It was clear that one team was declining and the other one was preparing to rise. Coincidentally, at the time, Ropz' contract was expiring, and although FaZe Clan tried to renegotiate and re-sign Ropz, he declined. As much as he loved FaZe, it was just obvious that he needed a new chapter. So with this in mind, it wasn't a big surprise that when Vitality made their move, Ropz agreed, and on January 10th, 2025, the signing of Ropz was announced. This definitely blew up on social media, and the reaction was mostly positive. I mean, as a lifelong FaZe fan myself, let's go Brokey! Although it hurt to see one of the best players in FaZe's history to leave, I couldn't help but feel like he had made the right choice. And the general consensus among fans and analysts was that this move will complete the Vitality super team. But I don't think anyone realized just how quickly this one move will completely change the face of competitive Counter-Strike. So around 3 weeks after Ropz was signed, the first real test came. IEM Katowice. Vitality started off strong by beating 3D Max 2-0, then after that their next opponent was FaZe, which just felt like a prophecy, you know, an early chance to see whether or not Ropz had made the right decision. And it was super close. It actually went to 3 maps, double overtime on the last map, but Vitality did win. After that FaZe win, they just unlocked a different gear, man. Like, they didn't just win, they dominated, they demolished, they beat out Spirit 3-0 in the grand final, and it wasn't exactly close maps either. Spirit got 22 rounds total over the course of best of 5 finals. 7 rounds per map on average. That's how well Spirit were able to find back. Zyvo obviously took the MVP. It's just, you know, another one to add to his cabinet. But what's interesting here is that Ropz got the EVP and posted 1.42 rating for the grand finals. Now you might be like, why is this even impressive? You know, that's just Mr. Cool, 3rd best player of 2025. Well, actually, it was a bit shocking at the time, because only months earlier, 2024 had been one of the worst years of his career. He barely even got into the HLTV top 20 for 2024, being ranked number 18. So it was clear that Ropz was reborn. But Katowice was only the beginning. So after Katowice, Vitality just kept winning. And winning. And winning. And even when they got into a little bit of a slump, which for them meant just winning slightly less, they still recovered, and to this day, they keep winning. Some of their most insane achievements include a 30-match win streak across 5 months that ended by Legacy 13-3ing them, but if not for that best-of-1 game, this would have been a 40-match win streak. 7 consecutive titles, and to this day they've reached at least semi-finals of every single event they've played in since Ropz joined. So I feel like at this point the conclusion is unavoidable. Ropz hasn't just improved Vitality, he was the last puzzle piece to create possibly the most dominant era in Counter-Strike history. The only thing rivaling that would be the Astralis era, but Vitality's era is nowhere near to being over. So why was Mr. Robin cool, the man who solved Vitality? Before I answer that question, the dog. I promise he doesn't have a shock collar, okay? He can leave at any point that he wants. I did use a snack to get him in there. But short interlude, I got a new camera. I hope you guys appreciate the improved video quality. We got the dog. We got the best dog ever. And if you like the dog, or perhaps you like my videos, which is a smaller chance, please do like the video and subscribe. So this roster is so good because there are no role conflicts. You have 5 elite players, each at their own craft, that are not trying to take jobs away from each other, that are not overlapping in what they need to do. Everyone understands their job and executes it at an elite level. Also, in around 1 year, Ropz and ZywOo have become a top 3 duo of all time. I wouldn't say that Vitality created a different way to play the game, at least not as much as Astralis did, but they definitely just looked at the meta, looked what stats actually matter, and pretty much maxed out all of them. That's why they're so difficult to beat, because you just don't have players that can max out these stats as much as Vitality can, and the other way to go about it is to play the game completely differently, create a different meta, and ultimately I think the change of meta will happen, and that will be what beats Vitality, but you just cannot beat them at their own game right now. Anyhow, we have one more question to answer. So what are even other options, right? I think Magisk joining Astralis could be number 2. Don't really have to explain that one. And Ropz joining FaZe, interestingly, could be number 3, because he took FaZe from pretty much quarterfinals merchants to being that number 1 team in the world. But no other transfer has ever produced results so quickly that are so dominant and undisputable. And what's the craziest part about all of this is that Vitality literally snatched him for free. So this is my top 3 of the best roster moves ever, and looking at it, it kind of makes me think maybe the greatest transfer of all time was Ropz joining Counter-Strike itself.